Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Tenchi Muyo GXP Paradise Starting Episode 6. This is the final episode, and I'm going to be honest, I've really put off watching and then making this video. I have to get this video uploaded tomorrow. Today is Saturday, tomorrow is Sunday, and then Monday is when this video is supposed to go live. And I really put this off to the last minute, because Episode 5 I just did not care for, and I really haven't been very interested in getting into this. So I had very low expectations, and right away those low expectations were sort of enforced by the poor animation. Animation quality definitely took a dip in this episode. You can tell that they're at the end of their budget and they're just sort of scraping by. It's not terrible throughout. There are times where it's fine, it's serviceable, but more so than any other episode, I feel like I'm noticing very poor animation. So yeah, that really set the tone at the start of this episode, and I was just like, oh yeah, I'm not going to enjoy this at all. And by the end, I was kind of 50-50 on it. So let's just go through what we got in this episode. It opens with them hanging out on the beach. The island, Tabletop Island, is finished. All our characters are there. And then we get a call from Seto, and she's like, alright, some of the participants in this game, yeah, they're coming now, so start getting things ready. And the 4 families that are sort of being sent in are Daruma, Julai, Varta, and Shank. 2 of them I remember from GXP. Shank, what is his name? Terrence Shank? Is that the main villain from GXP? And then Daruma's the one that ran, like, the big pirate guild, I think I remember. I can, see his face in my head. I don't know if he's bald, but I from what I recall, he was, a short, bald guy. And he had, the... Oh, it's been so long since I watched GXP, but wasn't his ship, or, something involving a ship, the Lucky Cat thing that they have in Japan, where it's, it's got the coin. The thing that Meowth, the Pokemon, is based on. At least I think that's who Daruma is. That's their family. So those are our 4 families dropping onto the island right now, and those are the 4 main girls from, Paradise War. So they show up in this, and that's great. We're also sent people to help us, and we get a new character. Is it Masaki Tomi? I think is what it is. My handwriting is terrible. I can't read it. And she is another one of Yosha's descendants who went into space and lives in space. And she is coming to help sort of oversee this whole project. And we learned that a lot of the people sort of helping out are going to be Masakis, because they're sort of aware of what's going on. So, they're setting up, a little fishing village to get some food and stuff. They're not setting up much housing, so some of the groups that show up are just sort of camping in the woods. I don't know what the girls' names are, but the Shank girl, there's a scene where her and her grandfather are setting up a tent, and she's just complaining because in the brochure it's luxurious buildings and it's a nice resort. And I found that very fun. And that's sort of where my enjoyment of this episode really came from, was at parts of this episode, it felt like the start of a new show. This felt like an episode 1 to a Paradise War anime. So finally, the Paradise Starting part of it feels like it's finally here. Having the girls sort of show up and how they sort of interact at the start, the main character from Paradise War showing up towards the end, all of this felt like the first episode to a new harem anime. And that's where I really enjoyed this. I want to see more of the Paradise War girls. I want to see more of the Paradise War guy. What is his name? Kukoma Sho. I want to see more of Sho. I want to see more of the pirate girls. All of that stuff was really good. And I wish we had got more of that earlier on in the show, instead of sort of talking about Renza space magic. That's the stuff that I really didn't like. But as soon as it gets back to more basic Tenchi harem stuff, where it's alright, here's a kid, here's a bunch of girls, let's get going, that's where this episode was really great for me. Okay, this is something I just wanted to highlight. There's a scene in this where Sena is fishing, and he gets pulled into the water. And that's great, that's Sena, he is unlucky. and I think I talked about this in the last episode, or one of these videos, where it feels like his bad luck really got downplayed to a point where, like, Sana didn't have much of a character. And so just this one moment where he gets tugged into the water is great, and it feels like it's Sana again. Like, I feel like the anime really needed more of that, and I think a part of the novels is, and I think they even talked about it in this show a little bit, is how his luck gets better if he's got, like, his harem around him or whatever. That's fine and all, but, like, we needed more moments like this where it shines through a little bit. Like, have him separate off a little bit more and have bad things happen. I think that would have helped this show a whole lot. So yeah, a lot of this is now just back to setting up for Paradise War. So Sana is in Paradise War. He is a character called Minamida. I didn't remember that name or know about it. I haven't read Paradise War, obviously. But I remember seeing him in illustrations and people saying, like, okay, that's Sana from GXP. So we get an understanding of why he's wearing the disguise. It's because he is responsible for, like, all the space piracy basically crashing and burning. So he doesn't want the pirates that are here on the island to sort of know that it's him, so he made a disguise. Oh my gosh, I can't even read my notes. We get an introduction to the White Cabots, which is just Fuku D. What is her name? And then the other dual parallel trouble girls. My brain has just stopped working. Mickey and the other one, Kirsch, is that their name? So they're the White Cabots. They can just turn white. That's cool. Right away, the representatives from each of these pirate guilds, the 4 girls, sort of show up and are fighting. And then this is the thing that gets me. It's like, all right, Shank challenges Tsukiko to a fight. Okay, cool. Let's see what that's like. No, it's off-screen. We get an off-screen fight where Tsukiko puts these girls in their place, and it's just like, all right, we'll settle down now and just sort of live life as we can. So that was unfortunate, and that's just another moment where it's like, okay, yeah, we didn't have the budget for that, so we just got to off-screen that, which is unfortunate. Earth knows about this and knows about what's going on, so they get to send somebody to sort of oversee it. They send the woman, what is her name? Miriam Pham from the UN, which is cool. Like, a lot of this series has been sort of in the shadows happening, like, outside of Earthlings' knowledge, right? So now that they're finally in the know, they know what's happening on Tabletop Island, and they get to send somebody there to just sort of keep an eye on what's going on. So that's cool. I like that a lot. And then we get a short little montage of, like, people trying to sneak onto the island. So we get, like, a scuba diver sort of swimming in, and then when he pops up, he's in, like, a pool. There's another one where, like, I don't remember if it was a submarine or if it was a ship. It just gets teleported onto, like, an island somewhere. So, like, Sana with Zimv is just going around, like, teleporting these things. And that was a lot of fun. Those were some fun little moments there. And then we get the main character from Paradise War, who I mentioned earlier, Sho. The reason he is allowed to come here is because Sana's mother had a pamphlet for the island, which is meant for people in space. And she gave it to her friend, who gave it to her son, who now wants to come and join. And they agree. And there's sort of hints that it wasn't entirely accidental, and some of this was set up by, like, Seto and stuff like that. So he comes to the island, and that's sort of where we end. It ends, we get the credits, and then we get, I don't remember where exactly it ends, but I don't remember if it ends sort of on the boat ride back after Sana picks him up, or if we get the credits and then Sana picks up in Minamida disguise, picks up Sho and takes him there. But that's where it ends. And we get, like, a really fun, not fun, but, like, an interesting moment from Sana where he's, like, reminiscing about how he got dragged into space, and he's like, I never thought I would be the one dragging just a normal Earthling into this space stuff, as he transports Sho onto this island where all kinds of crazy things are going to happen. Overall, I think this was one of the better episodes. I think it was maybe like 60-40. Like 60% I was really on board, having a good time. The other 40% was just sort of, not that great for me. Everything with the Paradise War cast got me, and it got me excited for Paradise War stuff, which I'm never going to be able to read. I think there's like a machine translation of the novel, but I'm never going to read that. I think, what else? I don't think there's ever going to be an anime of that, is the thing. I think those novels were made as a pitch for an anime that never went anywhere, which is unfortunate, because I really would... I'd like a Paradise War anime. Like, I really enjoyed those characters, and I want to see more. And again, parts of this episode felt like the start of a new show, and it got me really excited, because we haven't actually had that with Tenchi Muyo in a long time. It was, War on Geminar was the last one, and that was like 2010, 2011. So yeah, like, it had all that feeling of, like, here's our first episode, here is our main character, here are all the girls that are going to be, like, surrounding him. And it was just, like, a good time, and I think that's where Kajishima really thrives, is in making, like, a more traditional harem anime. Like, just get a boy surrounded by a bunch of girls, and then do a show about that. Just constantly trying to fill in the gaps of all the stuff that you've made before is sort of wearing me out, and it's not that enjoyable. I get that you don't have a budget for something big, but I don't know, hopefully in the future you can get a 12-episode Paradise War anime greenlit and just put it on TV, and you can get a half-decent show out. I've watched shows with poor animation budgets, harem shows with poor animation budgets. I did a whole series of videos on the Conception anime, which is not a particularly good show, but I still enjoyed that quite a lot. So I think what would be best is if Kajishima really stepped away from just world building all the time and just sort of went back to basics and just did a new harem show. Get a main character, get a bunch of girls, have fun. Because that's what this episode was giving me in spots, was sort of that feeling of OVA 1 of Tenchi Muyo, or even GXP anime, and Paradise War War on Geminar at the start. Like, those parts were really fun, and I really want more of that, and less exposition. But yeah, overall, Paradise Starting, this felt very worthless. I don't know if I would ever recommend anybody watch this. Like, even somebody that really likes Tenchi stuff, I don't know if there's enough substance here to really drag you along. I haven't rewatched OVA 4 in a while, so maybe I give that show a pass because it was the first time coming back in a while. But even that felt like it was a bit more substantive than this. OVA 5 is way better than this show, where it felt like we were actually progressing in the things that it was building. Well, the things it was building on were things that I actually cared about. I don't care about GXP Renza stuff. Whereas I did care about War on Geminar, and seeing Kenshi grow up and train and stuff like that I felt was really cool. Whereas this just felt sort of worthless to me. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Overall, show was meh. This episode was alright. I liked it more than I expected I was going to. But yeah, that's it. I don't think we have a new Tenchi show on the horizon for a while. So I'm just going to get back to doing old Tenchi stuff for a while, which will be fun. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.